Call the Redevelopment Commission meeting to order. Let's stand for the pledge. We have a flag here today. Greg, would you start us off?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Lynn, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Lack?
Here.
Mr. Zilli?
Here.
Mr. Echtel?
Here.
Mr. Mund? Mayor Lynch?
Here.
Dr. Finley?
We have the approval of the minutes from the September 24th.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor Yeah, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm used to these virtual meetings where we have to call the roll for everything.
Right.
So we have the payment of claims. Do we have a motion to approve the claims? Did you notice that there were 4 add-ons to the claims? Did everybody get those add-ons?
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve with the 4 additions.
Second.
Listed out,
Okay,
right?
we have a-
It brings the new total to $79,902.96.
900 and how many dollars?
I'm sorry, 2.96.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion, any questions?
Question on the Modern Edge Chrisman Road wall repair.
Okay, AJ?
Is that the planter?
Yes.
And is that being paid, I thought that was being paid through insurance.
It's paid out, and then we're pursuing insurance through Sanderson Insurance.
Okay. And then once it gets paid, if it gets paid, we get reimbursed?
Yeah, we'll get it back. It'll come to us. And I believe there's been an agreement on that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay, for the full amount.
Okay, I think I had a question here. Let me see, I was going through these. No, I guess I got that answered. I'm okay with that. Does anybody else have any questions or any comments? If not, Lynn, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Lack?
Yes.
Mr. Zilli?
Yes.
Mr. Ecto?
Yes.
Mayor Lynch?
Yes. We have
Thank you.
staff reports. Lynn, you're the only staff. Do you have a report?
No?
AJ's here too.
Oh,
AJ.
that's right, AJ, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm just probably gonna end up staying up there for a while.
Sue, you wanna sign those for me?
A couple of things I wanted to bring up under a staff report. So at last month's meeting, we approved a contract with Reeve Riley for the construction of the Imagination Glen Trail. You'll recall that trail was part of the Land and Water Conservation Fund grant that had been previously received by the Parks Department. They are scheduled to begin work on that trail beginning Monday, November 2nd. In talking with the folks at Reeve Riley and the project manager, it'll probably be about a week's worth of construction. Locates have been done, center line's been established, so they're ready to go on that project. So if you go out there and if you want to see where the trail is going to be, it's out there. It's like I said, it's lined as marked. There's a center line established, and you'll kind of get a sense of what that project includes. Again, we're about to head into preliminary conversations about budgeting for 2021. I'm continuing to work with Lynn to really kind of get a good sense of where we believe our cash balances are going to be at the end of the year, as well as what our cash balances look like they'll be at on January 31st of 2021 after we make the bond payments in January. So we're working on those and then beginning to talk through projects that we have, priorities that the commission may identify in next year and in the years to come. So those conversations are going to start taking place here soon. Next month, our financial advisor, Carl Sender, will be here holding the annual meeting with affected taxing units. We'll be talking about a couple matters during that meeting. We'll be talking and presenting the 2020 budget, long-term plans for the Redevelopment Commission, and tax impacts. So Carl Sender and Company are preparing those documents right now. They'll be on the agenda in November. And then I'm always available here if you have any questions. If not, we can continue.
Okay, are there any questions? If not, we'll move on to quote for the police department door.
Yes, so we've solicited quotes for a door at the Portage Police Department. It appears that we've received one quote. This quote is from HP Construction Services Incorporated Westville, Indiana 46391. The quote from HP Construction Services Incorporated is in the amount of $2,997.
And what door is that, AJ?
The department, I understand, to approve efficiency in the department, would like to add an additional door. I believe it's just helping them and the operations inside the station.
Okay.
Is there any part of it that can be classified like COVID or something like that, where we can get reimbursed?
We'll ask, but I'm not sure. But I'll ask.
COVID
Yeah,
containment?
Right.
good.
Right.
Good thought, Greg. Thank you. So do we have, do we need to,
So if the commission would, I would like to, if it's determined that they are a responsive bidder, obviously they're the only one in this amount, $2,997. If it's found to be that they're responsive, and if Attorney Whitten believes that all is in order, I would like to seek your permission today to award this contract contingent on legal review, making sure that all the paperwork is in order so that the police department could get this work finished.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to award upon legal review.
Second.
we have motion and a second. Are there any further questions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We have a quote for Police Department compressor.
Yes, we have two quotes for the compressor at the police station. The first is from Mechanical Concepts, Inc., 750 South County Line Road, Gary, Indiana, 46403. I tried to save the envelope when it didn't work.
Okay. I'll figure it out.
Again, this quote is from Mechanical Concepts. Their amount, or the quote amount, is $7,850. Again, that was from Mechanical Concepts.
And that's for a compressor.
Yes. The second quote is from Circle R Mechanical, 6620 Shepherd Avenue, Portage, Indiana, 46368.
It's for the rooftop unit.
The amount, or the quote from Circle R Mechanical is $4,994.
Is this for the HVAC system or something?
Yes, sir. It's for one of the rooftop units for the 60-ton Aeon rooftop unit. Well, I don't know which order is the appropriate order here, but on the claims, you saw that there had been some work done already. Terry, in his look at that, felt that some of that kind of rose to the level of emergency, and he wanted to get it done right away. He didn't feel this rose to that same standard, but he's like, yeah, this has to happen soon thereafter.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the lowest, most responsible bidder after attorney review.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Garriton project update.
So before you, at your places, I provided the written report from the consultant team of Carter Blue, Holiday Properties, Holiday Construction, and Mixed Design. I understand that the PowerPoint presentation went well last month, and I believe it was reported that the written report would be provided to you at the subsequent meeting. So this is that written report. I'd like to draw your specific attention, if I could, just for a couple minutes, to page 25. Page 25 talks about what our next steps are. And again, you know, this is the handoff. This is the consultant completing the work, handing it off back to the city of Portage so that we can take the next steps to move this project forward. So there are 6 recommendations in there, a couple of which I believe we should accept their recommendation and act upon immediately. And that has to do with continuing as the Garriton leadership team, that group that really helped get this project started. Continuing to make our way through determining a preferred plan, looking at the recommendations of the report in terms of different things that we can do to stabilize the building. And then you'll see that there's a couple actions recommended there. Actions 2, appoint a Garriton Center Board of Directors, and Action 3, create a role or a job description and a role for a director. You'll see that there's the leadership team and then a handing off to this new group. I just would really encourage us to keep the positive momentum that we have in the community going forward on this project, and just and ask those of you who are a part of the leadership team that you know, this is some additional direction for us, and we obviously have some more work to do if we're gonna deliver Garriton Center to what it can be. If there are any questions about the report, you know, I know you just got it. Please take the time to review it. We'll sit down. Now that I've presented the written report to you as members of the commission, I'll extend this report out to the members of the Garriton leadership team, and try to get a meeting set up to kind of talk about the next steps in terms of moving this project forward. I don't have anything else to add at this point.
I think we were waiting for you.
Okay.
I mean, I think this is a great report that's been put together for us. It gives us a clear idea of where to go from here if we're moving forward. I'm excited to see what happens with Garriton. And just send all any questions as we go through here. Just send them to you.
Yeah, and I think at this point, I think it's back to the group. It's back to us as the community in total of what the next steps are. This was a 90-day look at maintaining that momentum, talking about programming, but the next steps, these are back to us. The consultants, I believe, have met the obligations of their contract. They've handed this document over to us. There's additional supplemental pieces to that document as well that will serve as other resources to the city. But I think it's now back on us to ask ourselves the question of what is next? How are we going to do this? What's the best approach for us as the city of Portage? So yeah, I think that we need to re-engage, first that Garriton leadership group, start asking the questions and try to keep this momentum that we have.
So will you be spearheading that next meeting?
Yeah, so what I would like to do, Mayor, is provide this written report to the members of that leadership team and try to convene a meeting of them to talk about the report, the handoff, and what's next going forward.
So AJ, if the road leads toward a creation of a board of directors and such, I'll have to put some time and input into that, obviously.
Absolutely. And I think that what this report did and codifies in a written document is the true challenges and complexities associated with taking a project on of this magnitude and what it's really going to take, whether it's the Redevelopment Commission, the City of Portage, the community, to really make this happen. We heard a lot of wonderful ideas. The stakeholders have wonderful ideas, but the godliness is in the details. And we have to sit down, we have to have the real conversations amongst ourselves as to what it's going to take for us to be successful and successfully implement this. I love the idea that we're thinking a lot about all this work now first, before we commit many resources to a building and we don't know how to hand it off or how to deal with the management, the programming. I really think that this document serves as a really good next step or next series of steps for us as a community to really keep this effort moving.
Okay.
You said there's supplemental material. What is it?
Yeah, there's some additional materials that Tina provided in a Dropbox today.
Okay.
I hadn't had a chance to review, Greg, what that all meant in total.
Okay.
But there is an additional file that was brought to my attention today.
Okay. I'll hold off on questions until I see it all.
Okay.
Are there any other questions? If not, thank you, AJ.
Thank you, AJ.
Welcome.
Thank the team. We have the City Hall project update.
So, yes, we've been under contract with CSK to develop plans for the remodel of City Hall. We've been working with a group of a steering committee, for lack of a better description, who's been working with the architect. I've been working very closely with Clerk Treasurer Rivas and looking at her space and her needs, as well as the needs of the council and additional needs inside the building with the departments that still reside at City Hall. We have a preferred plan that's been signed off on. The architects are now putting together that detailed construction estimate for that project, and we'll be making a full report. I'll have the findings prior to your next meeting, and we'll be sharing that information leading up to the next meeting, and then a report will be given during the next meeting when it's set a little later. I don't know which date it's going to be in November, but a presentation will be provided during your November Redevelopment Commission meeting. That's all I have for that report, unless there are any questions.
A lot of hard work been put into that so far. A lot of change. So permission to advertise for demolition of 1779 LaPorte, 1794 Schiller, and 2508 Hamstrom.
Yes, I'm seeking the commission's approval to advertise for demolition for these properties. There are 3 single-family properties acquired in recent years by the Redevelopment Commission. Something I know the commission has talked about a couple years ago and had to hit pause on that due to financial constraints. We're in a better financial position and believe that we're able to move forward, at least to go out and solicit the quotes for demolition of these 3 properties. It would be our intention to solicit them independently, not as one package.
Motion
AJ,
to approve.
I was just going to ask real quick. Can you talk about what are these properties? What
There
are
are
the
3 single-family homes.
Okay.
It's a 1-story ranch on Hamstrom, just south of the Indiana Toll Road. There's a 2-story within the detached garage on LaPorte, and there's a single-story home just north of US 20 on Schiller. That would be the 3 that we would be seeking quotes for demolition.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion by Greg and a second by Colin. Is there any further discussion? And you're going to seek those independently?
Yeah, yes, Mayor, I'd like to solicit them each. not as a grouping.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. So we have the meeting date changes for November and December. Not sure what we did in the past, but Colin and I know Greg, you were on the commission. So the Thanksgiving, do you do that the Thursday before?
I think we would defer to Lynn on what works for claims.
In December, I don't think we had one.
That would be the 19th.
Yeah, the only thing is that there are some people that submit claims that right at the end of that week, which you guys might not be able to see. So you either have to,
Would it be helpful if we did like
Let
maybe
me have
like
direction.
Monday the 23rd to give you till the end of the week?
it's just if stuff comes in, I just don't want, if I want to put it on, I don't want you guys saying, no, you shouldn't have, if it's a standard claim, if it's nothing out of the ordinary, if it's an ongoing project, if it's a utility bill, if it's in that way, you'll end up signing the docket, so if you don't like
Right.
it, we can always fix
I mean,
it. But
I'm fine going with just the Thursday
Either the
before. but-
19th or Colin suggested maybe the 23rd, which is a Monday, but check your calendars.
in all honesty, November meeting was skipped more than held.
Was it?
Yeah.
I'm fine with either date, the 19th or 23rd, whatever works for everybody else.
Okay. When did Mr. Mudd get here?
You just snuck
He just
in.
got here.
Oh.
You didn't miss him, Lynn.
19th's fine for me.
19th? Alan?
That's fine.
Ralph?
What's the day that is, Mayor?
That would be a
That's
Thursday.
Thursday, it's the
Thursday
week
before.
prior
Week
to our
before?
normal
Right.
meeting.
Should be fine.
So we will have the redevelopment commission meeting on the 19th of November at 4 p.m. instead of the 26th, which is Thanksgiving. So then moving on to December, which our meeting would normally be on the 24th, but that is Christmas Eve.
Do we just want to do the 17th, which is the Thursday before? That work for everybody?
Yep.
Do we need a motion?
No.
Okay.
Same time, same bat channel?
Same bat channel?
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you. So is there any other business to come before the commission? AJ, Sandy, do you have anything?
Of course AJ does. Just gonna say no.
So we did make application for a few grants over the course of the last week and a half. We did make application for one grant through Lake Michigan Coastal Program for some programming at Garriton. Again, I know it's a little bit quick, but again, trying to maintain that momentum and knowing that this next round for a call was right now. We made the application, and it's for some cultural and historic sort of signage and telling the story about Garriton. So it's a good outreach piece, and I think something that will really be identified as a value if we're successful in winning that grant. We did also apply for a grant to basically look at properties owned by any entity in the city of Portage as it relates to its environmental quality, its value to the city of Portage in a utility capacity. As you know, as members of the Redevelopment Commission, the commission owns a number of properties. And in very short, in those properties, those ownerships are whatever that property was. But as you know, depending on the property, the size of the property, that property may have intrinsic value as a natural resource in part. It may have a value in terms of utility for stormwater or for another utilitarian purpose for the city. And then also looking at, our waterways in our community. So the application again was made to the Lake Michigan Coastal Program, and what it'll be is an analysis of all the properties owned by the city of Portage, identifying what we own what we may want to dispose of, what we may want to keep, and then identifying opportunities where additional acquisition may be of value. As you know, every year the Redevelopment Commission, or historically, has put together a list for land acquisition. So we believe that this report will have a value. If we're successful in receiving this application, this report will have a value, better understanding what we have, what we would need to keep within our land holdings, and future opportunities that may be availed to us in the years to come. I believe this report will have a value to you as members of the Redevelopment Commission. I believe it's going to have a value to the Stormwater Board. It's going to have value across the city of Portage in total, because it's a very comprehensive analysis of both, again, those natural areas and then those utilitarian purposes that we have, that we may have. So I think one example that comes to mind is the sport resort and the possibility of bringing that back into the fold. There may be parcels of property there that, with our partners, the National Park Service, we may decide, hey, to buffer the national park, it may be better to figure something else out. The natural quality of that area is so strong that maybe it isn't just the best thing to sell it. That's one example that comes to mind fairly immediately. I would say what it reminds me of is a little bit about what this commission did a number of years ago when you developed the development plan for the North Side development, where you had a 150-acre parcel of property. You held off a significant portion of that property to protect wetlands. You held off a significant portion of that property for stormwater management. You ultimately held off a portion of that property that led to and contributed to the ecological restoration work that was done on Burns Waterway, both near the old yacht club and north near the old warehouse and the open air pavilion. So it just seemed like a really unique opportunity to get that work done across all of the properties in the city, knowing that you as a commission have a desire to look at your holdings, look at opportunities to sell, and I think when we're looking at opportunities to sell as Portage, we may also, I think it's also going to be wise for us to think about opportunities where we might want to keep for any number of reasons. So that's the second. The third, on Wednesday, we submitted an application to NERC for fiscal years 25 and 26 for the next phase of the Central Avenue West project. So that was submitted on Wednesday. And then we submitted for community crossings matching grant for a number of streets. They announced a second round for 2020. So we made that application as well. So that I just wanted to bring the commission up to speed that we did make those 4 applications.
Thank you, AJ.
You're welcome.
Dan, not to put you on the spot, but do we have an update on the sport resort property? Any news on that?
Nothing since the last time. We've got that hearing, later in the year, but there won't be a whole lot going on. Since our last meeting with the receiver, nothing's really happened.
Okay, thank you.
So is there anything else to come before the commission? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.